Did you know public speaking was one of the biggest fears that people got? And I volunteered on purpose. I volunteered on purpose because I'm comfortable in front of my group. And I have found that speaking is very healing and cathartic for me because I get to connect and take you on a journey with me. So I'm here about work and money. I love my job. I get to go to work. So yeah, I am the marketing coordinator for San Diego Futures Foundation. It is a tech nonprofit located in City Heights. I live about 2 blocks away from my work. If you haven't heard about it, what we do is we have a contract with the County of San Diego, and every time that they refresh their computers, they donate them to us. Are there any nonprofits here in the room tonight? Anybody that owns a nonprofit? See me afterwards, 5 free computers per year. Through San Diego Futures Foundation as a result of what we do. We also provide affordable computers to low-income families, veterans, seniors, people with disabilities, nonprofit employees, and digital literacy services for free too. And the reason we do that is because, excuse me, we're finding out that just because you know how to use a cell phone, that does not translate into knowing how to actually type up a resume on the computer. Right? So we offer that, and we also offer IT services to nonprofits as well. And free e-waste. If you have e-waste, bring it on down. We'll pick it up. However, it wasn't always this way. Just 3.5 years ago, my life was drastically different. Drastically different. It was void of any substance, of anything that mattered in life, any purpose, any meaning. I'd finally hit a bottom after a 10-year run on drugs and alcohol, and this was the end result. I didn't want to take that picture, that my friend asked me to do that. It's not even about the look. It's about what was going on inside of me. And if I look in those eyes, they're dead. My spirit was broken. You can take it down now if you don't mind. It's hard to look at, right? It's hard to look at. That was my reality 3.5 years ago. Drugs had taken a toll on my life, and it was time to start rebuilding it. It was not easy. It has not been an easy transition back into life. Trust me, in that condition, I could not even get a volunteer position. Some people wouldn't even let me in the door. That's the truth. But I kept looking and looking until one day a guy across the street that I met that was doing guerrilla gardening, him and his gay partner were out there, and I started helping them do that just because I needed something to do, some purpose and some meaning to give back to life. And he said, "Can I just be honest with you, Teresa?" And I said, "Sure." What I got to lose, right? Ain't nobody gonna hire you looking like that. Here's the name of a dentist. And so he gave me a name of a dentist. I find it very ironic that his name was Dr. Coca. So I called him. And so over the next year, if you could put up that next picture, please, I began the process of having all of my teeth removed, cleaning myself up, getting into a recovery home. And it was difficult, very difficult. But boy, what a great feeling it was when I finally saw myself with my teeth. And I was able to be accepted back into the world again. How grateful I was, because before all the stares, even complete strangers found it okay to put me down. You know what I'm talking about? I don't know why I got notes. This is my story. This is my life. But I look back and I think about how things got so bad. You know, how did it get so bad? It amazes me that I'm still alive. My sponsor calls me dos gatos, 2 cat lives that I have survived. I just won't die. I just won't die. I was born in 1964. So that kind of gives you a time frame. What we're talking about here, where I was at. I was raised a Christian, but I didn't really believe. You know, as far as I was concerned, growing up in my house was like, I mean, that means you couldn't have no fun. I was going to hell by the time I was 10, okay? I was going to burn, and I knew it. It wasn't good. After all, being a Christian, that was just one of many, many labels that I inherited right from the start. I was labeled with words that dictated the direction of my life, like words like poor, Mexican, uneducated, and of course, a woman. Those were just the beginning. There were more words to come, more labels that were going to be placed on me, and some I placed on myself, and others I didn't ask for. Words like alcoholic, drug addict, disabled, incomplete, paraplegic. That's actually on my written. That is the terminology used, that I am incomplete. And yes, sexual assault survivor, domestic violence survivor, disabled abuse survivor. Let me be very clear. From this moment forth, I take full responsibility for the choices that I made in my life that got me here tonight. I'm not a victim. I'm not a victim. It's not about the words, it's about the value that we put beyond those words. And how that skewed my identity and affected the career choices that I would make in my life as a result of all these labels that happened by the time I was 10. Well, not the sexual assault, but still, you get the point, right? It affected me. And so in the early 80s, I got into a blue-collar job. I began building bridges. No doubt, many of you drove on one of my bridges that I helped build to get here tonight. Whether that be the Home Avenue off-ramp, the 163A connector, the 125 connector, Via de la Valley off-ramp. Yeah, many of those, and I helped build, and boy, if I can just take some black and white pictures of every single one of them, I'm so proud that I helped build with these hands bridges that are gonna be here long after I'm gone. And not only that, more importantly, I have survived the abuse of those men. Because let me tell you, in the 80s and the 90s, building bridges and being the only woman, matter of fact, I meet 3 quotas in one, being a minority, being an apprentice, and being a woman. So they didn't have to hire 2 other hides, is what I was called. Come on over here, you hide. I didn't know to quit because I was making good money. And I was a blue-collar worker like my dad. Wasn't that what I was supposed to be? I'm Mexican. That's what we do, right? This is the extent of of the conditioning that takes place without anything ever being said. You see what I'm saying? You feel me? And I didn't even know this. I didn't know that the choices that I was making in my lifetime was as a result of what had been placed upon me from the get-go, right? So anyways, I just wanted to belong. I just wanted to fit in. I wanted to be one of the boys. So instead of trying to fight it, I just accepted it. And I began to drink with the boys until it came down to my relationship or drink. And by that time, I did not even know that I was an alcoholic. I didn't even know what that meant. And I chose the boys. And what happened after that was I lost my relationship. I lost that very good paying job. And I became isolated and depressed, not knowing how I was going to proceed forward. You don't have to answer this question, but have you ever been so down and out as a result of a breakup that you just wanted to end your life? That's where I was at. At the age of 27 years old, I picked up a .38 caliber pistol and I put it to my chest. I didn't mean to pull the trigger. It just happened. And then I was out of my body, watching myself shoot myself. And in that moment, it was as if all of my life I just had an all-knowingness about it, and it was all gonna be okay, but it was still in black and white. It wasn't even in color, and that bothered me so much. It wasn't even in freaking color, because I had given nothing back to humanity. And then, as quick as I left my body, I came back in my body on the opposite side, and boy, let me tell you, I felt the full impact of that .38 caliber pistol. I survived 1,000,000 to 1 shot. It pierced my aorta. And then I went down. And there's no place to go once you're that low except up. And up I came. I got on Social Security. It was a buoy out there just to cling on to something, to grab onto, to survive, to make it. Isn't that what you're supposed to do? You're disabled, you get Social Security, and you just go through the motions and and you begin to live like that, and that's what I did. I went back to school and I got my bachelor's degree in sociology and stayed sober for 12 years until that dreadful day came again, when I picked up that drink. But this time, I lost everything, even my dignity. I was stuck in a prison of scarcity on Social Security, and I didn't have there was no connection. I lost connection with humanity. I couldn't relate with the individuals that I was even partying with because they was talking about nothing. Nothing. And I wanted so bad to get out of that situation, to get off Social Security, to get a job, to get back into reality, but there'd be consequences for that. And here in a minute, you'll see what those consequences are, because they're right here, right now, for me. So anyways, I went ahead and finally hit bottom again 3.5 years ago. And I decided, to hell with it, I'm going back to work so I could give back to humanity. And I started to volunteer at where I work at now, and I volunteered there for 1.5 years because after all, I'd been on the streets and I suffered PTSD. Arrested Development. I had never worked in no office. I didn't know that, that when you do a copy or you print a paper that it turns over on its own. So I was sitting by the copier waiting so I could turn it over. with the stapler so I could staple it. I had no idea. Either that or I was on point. I had been on the streets for 10 years, surviving. So when anybody come from behind me, hey, you can't act that way in an office. I had to learn, relearn, or to refine myself, right? But it's as if all of the stars have aligned for me. I wanted to be a photographer, a videographer. I'm naturally an extrovert, so networking is no problem. This job fits me perfect. And I love that job. And I'm so happy that I'm where I'm at. However, the time has come where Social Security is about to get cut off. And I'm scared. I'm about to drop $1,500 next week. Will I make it? Of course I will. I build bridges. Can you put it up for me, please? Human bridges. Maybe not physical no more. I build human bridges. And what I do matters. We all have gifts and talents. You're special, you're special, you're special, you're special. Everybody in here tonight, you all have gifts and talents. And Nathan, I want to thank you so very much for taking that leap of faith and making this community, this forum possible. Because if you leave here with anything tonight from what I've shared, please share your story. It matters. Thank you.